Hello, everybody. Welcome you all on the virtual platform of Special Intelligence and Research Foundation. Today, in this GIS awareness campaign, we are going to discuss about the role of GIS in climate positive design. So, what is this climate positive design? This is a very first question in your mind. So, let's have a discussion on this climate positive design. So, climate positive design is nothing but the research initiative to improve carbon impact of built environment through collective action that sequester more carbon than they emit. Okay, so nowadays we are observing because of different human activities in nature, because of different built environment by human, different infrastructure project, we are emitting the carbon and we are destroying the capacity of nature to absorb the carbon back. Okay, but this carbon positive designs, they are something different. They are such a actions or such a activities or such a projects which sequester more carbon than they emit. Suppose there is any project which is a carbon positive, which has a carbon positive design, then we can say that that project or that particular activity is sequestering more carbon, means it is absorbing more carbon from nature than it emits. So its carbon footprints are very less, or they are negative, we can say. Okay, so carbon neutrality is again another concept. So carbon neutrality means having a balance between emitting carbon and absorbing carbon from atmosphere in carbon sink. Okay, so whatever carbon we are producing, that carbon should be get absorbed by such a green technology or green activities that we are adopting to produce a carbon sink. So that is nothing but the carbon neutrality. So these two terms are very important: carbon positive design and carbon neutrality, while tackling climate change and the different SDGs goals. Then to have this temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, so all these international goals we can able to achieve to by adopting these two technologies like carbon positive designs and carbon neutrality. So today we are going to discuss on this carbon positive design and role of GIS to help us to have this carbon positive designs. Okay, so let's move ahead. Here you can able to see the climate positive design, what it includes. So basically climate positive designs, it functions on the principle which is given over here, that is sources minus sinks plus cost is equal to landscape carbon footprint. Okay, so any action we are measuring on this particular principle, so whatever source of carbon because of that action minus how much carbon sequestration made available by that action, that is a sink, plus cost in inculcated to build that particular project or to have that particular action. So the amalgamation of all these three things with this particular formula gives us landscape carbon footprint. Okay, so the carbon sequestration action or activities, it includes the bicycle infrastructure in city walkways, then biochar, it is again a technology or technique used to sequestrate carbon in the soil. Okay, then green roofs, like we have solar panels on a roof, we have some plants or some vertical walls, vertical green walls like things. Okay, then we have bamboo cultivation in cities or in the green areas built around the city or in the city. Then we have shrub forest which is purposefully developed inside the city or just in the vicinity of city. Then we have coastal wetlands, sea grasses and mangroves. So all these things, they helps to sequester more and more carbon. So that's why carbon sequestration activities are the activities which develop all these infrastructure or which preserve, maintain and enhance all these infrastructure which can absorb more and more carbon, so that the entire city or entire project will become a carbon positive. Okay, then we have implementation of SDGs. It'll also boost the carbon positive design. Then we have green buildings, the buildings which are using very less energy or which are producing the more energy than they emit. Then we have green energy and technology. There are different technologies claimed by different companies which are which have very less carbon footprint or which have no carbon footprint. Okay, then we have development of smart cities, optimum utilization of solar energy potential. So all these things or all this initiative, they comes under this climate positive design. And by adopting all these things, we can able to design such a project or such a building or such a built environment which is climate positive design, or which has this climate positive design nature. Okay, so here are certain steps you can able to observe in this figure, which helps us to achieve this climate positive design architecture or climate positive design infrastructure or built environment. So the very first step over here is to reduce energy use and CO2 emissions through more efficient user behavior. Okay, so we can able to reduce the energy consumption and CO2 emission through more efficient user behavior. So if the awareness about this climate change and CO2 emission, or what is the negative impact of this carbon on the nature, whatever we are emitting in our day to day activities, so that people get aware about it and they can able to reduce this energy consumption and CO2 emissions. So that is the first step. Second step, to improve energy efficiency with more efficient applications and buildings. Okay, so if we are using more efficient appliances like electric appliances which has a good star rating, or if we are building such a structure which is getting more natural sunlight for its lightning, or which is using solar energy or some renewable form of energy to energize that particular structure, so that again helps us to have climate positive design. The third step over here is to incorporate renewable energy and green power, as I have already told you. And fourth step, purchase carbon offset. So what is this carbon offset? Suppose there are two companies which is emitting more carbon and the another company which is emitting less carbon, so they have carbon credit. They can sell their carbon credit in commodity market. Okay, so that is a purchase of carbon offset. So all these things, they helps us to design this climate positive structure. Okay, and all these things which is mentioned on the screen, they include climate positive design. Okay, so let's have a discussion on role of this remote sensing and GIS technology to achieve this sustainable development goals. Why we are discussing this? Because these sustainable development goals, they again have a very big impact on climate positive design. Because if we can able to achieve these goals, we can able to have climate positive design of the cities, of our society, of different human activities. Okay, so remote sensing and GIS technology helps us in some of the SDGs to maintain or to keep watch on the goals of this SDGs, whatever target we have set. So we can use geospatial data, satellites data, or some unmanned aerial vehicles to survey the real time execution of these SDGs and related activities. So on the screen you can able to see the SDG number 1, that is no poverty. You can use GIS based poverty map to implement the actions to tackle this poverty in the world. Okay, so in this way there are different geospatial data platform or geospatial platforms which can able to use to tackle different SDGs. Okay, so here the second SDG you can see the zero hunger. So we can achieve this particular SDG by having satellite and UAV data, like geospatial data for agriculture yield estimation and forecasting. Okay, so we can able to estimate agricultural yield, and we can able to use different forecasting data to have better agriculture decisions. Okay, so there is a one organization known as GeoGlam, which is a organization to monitor this agriculture by using this satellite and UAVs. Okay, then UAV also helps us to do the smart agriculture. UAV means unmanned aerial vehicle like drones. Okay, so they helps us to have smart agriculture practices. Okay, then we have good health and well-being. This is a third SDG. So geospatial data or geospatial analyze for examining healthcare system. That is again a role of this GIS technology to boost this particular SDG. Then location of hospital by locational intelligence. So this location of hospitals, to map these things to reduce the time to reach that hospital, we can able to achieve by using this GIS technology. So it comes under locational intelligence that we have already discussed in our previous part of this video series. Then disease pattern and distribution. So there are many GIS based platforms right now during this COVID-19 pandemic, which gives us the disease pattern and distribution analysis, in which part of the world how many cases are found, in which part of the world how is the distribution of the particular virus, and all these things. So this we can able to analyze by using this geospatial analysis. Okay, the remote sensing and GIS technology helps us to monitor the SDGs. Okay, then the next SDG is the sixth number, that is clean water and sanitation. So to achieve the targets set by this SDG, GIS and satellite data helps us in the following manner. So two points are mentioned over here: special location of water resources and distribution of water pollution. We can able to monitor by this remote sensing and GIS. We can also have a locations of point and non-point pollution source, so that we can take actions against it. Okay, then here you can able to see the utilization of geospatial data for different SDGs. So again, few of the sustainable development goals I have mentioned over here. So the 11th number sustainable development goal, that is sustainable city and communities. Okay, so to build these sustainable cities and community, GIS helps us through global mapping of land use and land cover changes. So whatever land use land cover changes happens in our surrounding, so that is very precisely mapped by GIS, and we can have better planning to reduce pollution, to reduce carbon footprint, and to have climate positive design. Okay, then we can able to do proper urban planning, and we can able to have smart city management through this sustainable city and communities goal. Okay, and GIS helps us to achieve this climate positive design goal. Okay, then the SDG 13, that is climate action. So to reduce this climate change, we have to take certain actions which has less carbon footprint. So here you can able to see detection on large scale impact of climate, like chlorofluorocarbons and different hazardous component on human life, that we can able to monitor by GIS technology. Okay, there are different climate models based on this GIS and remote sensing technology that can monitor these climate actions, and which helps to reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, then SDG number 14, that is life below the water, that is a blue economy, we can able to say life below the water. So GIS helps to in detection of ocean pollution like oil spill, and there are different plastic pollution in different part of ocean bodies in the world. So that can be monitored by this geospatial data or GIS technology. Identification of potential fishing zone and ocean temperature, ocean density, ocean salinity. So all these things can be monitored by different model data of this GIS. Okay, the next SDG is number 15 SDG, that is the life on land. So we can able to quantify forest cover, we can able to have deforestation and forest degradation data, and monitoring of all these things by GIS and remote sensing technology. We can also estimate the forest biomass by using this GIS technology. So in this way, GIS helps us to achieve the climate positive design and to fulfill the SDGs. Okay, so the fulfillment of SDGs, or the completion of target which we set during SDG, they also helps us to achieve this climate positive design. Okay, so we can say that they are the part of this climate positive design. Then here you can able to see the remarkable progress of remote sensing and GIS provides geospatial data at various spatial, spectral, radiometric, and temporal resolution, enabling uses of data for various application. Okay, so we know that whatever satellites we have, they are of a different type, they have different resolution. So they have different spectral resolution, they have different spatial resolution, they have different radiometric properties, they have different temporal resolution. So we can use data from different satellites at different moment to monitor different actions, okay, under this climate positive design campaign. Okay, then visualize regional differences to detect social and economic inequalities at both national and local level is possible by geospatial data analysis, which proved as an effective tool to monitor the broad range of SDGs target achievement and progress to make effective future plan. Okay, so you can able to detect the regional differences very precisely because of this UAVs, or you can say the remote sensing and GIS technology whatever we have right now. It made possible by this geospatial data analysis, which proved as an effective tool to monitor the broad range of SDGs target, how we can able to achieve this target or whatever task we are doing. So whether they are capable to achieve this target or not. So all these estimations we can able to have because of this GIS and remote sensing technology, and we can plan our activities to have effective future plan. Okay, different national geospatial information agencies will need to collaborate closely with national statistical and earth observation professional communities to deliver consistent and reliable data to fit into the formulation of wide ranging sustainable development policies. Okay, so if different national geospatial information agencies they are coming together, they are sharing their data, they are taking help of different statistical and earth observation professional communities to deliver consistent and reliable data about all these activities, human activities, the changing nature of land use and land cover, so that we can able to have better future plan. Okay, so these sustainable development policies definitely helps us to achieve the carbon positive design. Okay, so next, the GIS application for smart cities. So we are all discussing about smart cities to have the less carbon footprint, whatever activities we are doing. So how GIS helps us to build these smart cities? So it helps us in site selection and land acquisition. Okay, so whatever plan made by different project teams related to the site selection and land acquisition for that project, they are taking help of this GIS technology. So the cost of project get reduces also. Traditional activities whatever we have to perform, we can able to reduce that activities which has a huge carbon footprint. Okay, then environmental and legal compliance we can able to get from this GIS application. We can able to have better planning, design and visualization with the GIS softwares. Then construction and project management activities we can do by using GIS applications. Then sales and marketing, facility management, operation and reporting. So all these different activities we can able to achieve through different GIS applications for smart cities. So we can say that GIS can be used throughout the life cycle of smart city. Okay, so whatever smart city we are going to build, whatever life cycle of that city, so GIS helps us from their birth to their death. Okay, means what? From the plan to the entire life of that particular city, GIS helps us from site selection, design, construction to use and maintenance. So all at every stage in this smart city management, GIS helps us. GIS is an ideal technology that has the ability to scale across any expanse, from the individual asset within a building to a virtually global context, trying to all aspects of smart city planning and development. Okay, so by using this GIS technology we can work at very micro level and at very macro level also. Okay, so remember this thing. So GIS applications for smart cities that we have discussed over here. So remote sensing and GIS they also plays a vital role in some other activities also, like quantifying and mapping carbon sink and stock value of forest ecosystem. So we can able to understand how much carbon sinks available in nature, or how much stock value of forest ecosystem that we have. So before doing any project, we have to see the stock value of forest ecosystem. If it is more than the project cost, then we have to shut that particular project, and if it is less than the project cost, then we can able to go ahead. So likewise we can quantify and map carbon sink and stock values of forest ecosystem for different project management. Okay, then we have mapping the distribution of greenhouse gases. So distribution of greenhouse gases we can able to map by using GIS technology, and we can take adequate action to reduce the activities which are responsible for this climate change. Okay, then urban and city planning with economic and social benefit of low carbon footprint that we can able to achieve because of this technology. Okay, we can able to have proper management of cities so that the city has low carbon footprint. Okay, the next activity done by GIS technology is by development of planning tool for greenhouse gas emission reduction through biomass exploitation. Okay, so we can have the optimum biomass exploitation so that we can develop proper planning for greenhouse gas emission reduction. Okay, so that is also again a very important application of this GIS technology, and all these applications they support the climate positive design in our society. Okay, so here you can see climate positive design maintains environment and social stabilities through these different goals. So we can able to achieve quality of life with this climate positive design architecture or infrastructure. We can have the employment and investment opportunities futuristic technological field. So it develops the competitiveness in market of developing smart cities and related applications. So it tries to maintain the environment and social sustainability and stability in our society. Here you can able to see different index or different applications made available by this remote sensing and GIS technology, which helps us to maintain the carbon footprint of human activities, and that's why they are treated as a climate positive design or climate positive actions, so that we can able to tackle the different environmental issues, different environmental problems, and we can able to reduce the carbon footprint of different human activities. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this particular video session. So guys, don't forget to visit our virtual platform of Spatial Intelligence and Research Foundation for such an interesting topic in future also. Also, don't forget to share your ideas, experience, skills, and knowledge about this life-changing technology in comment section. Your feedback and suggestions, they are always welcome. So thank you guys, and have a climate positive designs in your life also. So have a great day.